Hey everybody, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here. I want to talk to you today about my experience at the IBJJF Pan Ams. So if you've been following along on social media, Beers with Chad, that kind of stuff, I've been training jiu-jitsu now for 18, maybe 19 months. Started about September 2017, trained at Gracie Barra headquarters in Irvine, California with Professor Felipe de la Monica. And competed a couple times now, 3 times at white belt, and this was my first competition at blue belt. So, to kind of backtrack a little bit, I first got involved in jiu-jitsu in the very early days of Juggernaut, late 2009, early 2010, where I got the opportunity to do strength and conditioning coaching for a lot of really high-level Gracie Barra black belts. Fabio Vilela, Giganchino, he was like our original guy. And then along the way, people like Professor Felipe Romulo Bajau, Otavio Sousa, Victor Estima, Kyron Gracie, tons of really great practitioners, and they were always like, "Oh shit, you got to train, man. You're gonna smash everyone." But at the time, all my focus was powerlifting and strongman, and I was like, I can't hurt my elbow or my shoulder or anything. But anyways, that's how I first got exposed to jiu-jitsu, and the last year and a half of training has been it's been really fun. It's been just a totally new challenge. Powerlifting was something that was a very easy, smooth transition for me, coming from throwing the shot put for 13, 14 years. I got right into it, and right away I was very good. Totally in 1962 at my first meet ever. And then strongman was very similar to that. A lot of carryover from powerlifting, where I did it and 9 months later turned pro. And jiu-jitsu has not been that at all. It helps to be strong, but the qualities, the physical qualities needed, it's a lot different, and the technique is endless. So competing particularly has been a bit of a different a different animal for me, a different mindset and everything than competing in powerlifting. And there was a lot of stuff coming up to this competition, which back in November, December, I was training hard and excited. I was like, I'm going to do Pan Ams in March, and then things got derailed a little bit. Middle of December, I got an umbilical hernia, which caused me to first have to pull out of a powerlifting meet that I had wanted to do, which I didn't really tell anyone about because I wanted to make sure I was healthy all the way up to it. But then, I had to get surgery, take some time off from lifting, from jiu-jitsu, from everything. So I figured coming back from that, I was like, I won't do the Pan Ams. I don't want to rush back. But things were coming together pretty well. I was able to get back to training soon enough. So we decided, like, okay, if we feel good, maybe we'll do Pan Ams. And then between umbilical hernia, traveling a lot, doing seminars, Arnold, all that kind of stuff. And then about 2 weeks out from Pan Ams, in fact, like 2 days before the registration deadline, I caught a heel to the lip, going for a takedown. In training, I had to get seven stitches in my lip, and it was just kind of like, man, what else can go wrong here? But decided to sign up anyways, and sort of debating with myself, should I sign up as a Masters 1? For Jiu-Jitsu, Masters 1 would be 30 to 35, or sign up for adult. And if you've heard me talk about powerlifting and how I think there's too many divisions and all that kind of stuff, Jiu-Jitsu has all of those problems, if not more. And it's got tons and tons of divisions, and probably more rightfully so, because there is so much more technique to learn and such a massive discrepancy between, a guy in Brazil who started training when he was 5 and, a guy in Orange County who started training when he was 31. But anyways, I figured, like, I haven't been able to train this last week because of I'm not going to be able to train that last week because of stitches and things just haven't been going great. So maybe, I'll go Masters, Plus I only got my blue belt just like 4 weeks ago. So, jumping right into the adult competition, a big thing like Pans, it was pretty daunting, but I figured since, I give people a hard time about competing masters or sub-masters and all these different distinctions there are in powerlifting. I couldn't be hypocritical and do the same thing in jiu-jitsu, so I decided, adult, let's go for it. Let's see what happens. And I gotta tell you, in those last 3 days leading up to competition, way more nervous than I ever really have been for powerlifting or strongman competition. Powerlifting is a sport almost just like a big math problem. And the meat is the product of that equation at the end, but it's very easy or very straightforward to predict what kind of performance you're going to have, and how much the weights weigh, and they're not trying to choke you out while you're lifting them. And particularly when I was at my highest level performing in powerlifting, any the 5-10 people who would have a chance to beat me in the entire world, I knew who they were, so it wasn't going to be any kind of surprise. Where in jiu-jitsu, there's just so many more variables and so many more unknowns. And I'll tell you, I was really nervous, like not able to sleep the night before type of nervous, kind of sweaty palms thinking about it type of stuff the night before, the morning of. And my coaches, Professor Philippe, did a great job of reassuring me. My wrestling coach, Jacob Harmon, who I work with, Marissa, all really encouraging and reassuring to me. So went in, warmed up. It was right down the street, which is very convenient. Living here in Orange County, kind of all the big jiu-jitsu stuff is right here. So it was at University of California, Irvine, 10-minute drive, if that. So very convenient for me. Get down there, warm up, working with Jacob, breaking the grips, and then I see these texts coming in from Marissa saying, they're calling your name, they're saying last call, and the scheduling for jiu-jitsu, they give you a time, but that time is changing all the time. And even though I kept checking it on my phone, updating the brackets, they were still calling me out 20 minutes before when it said, so I grabbed my stuff and kind of just ran out there, and I was next up on the mat. So, which kind of probably helped in a way because it didn't give me too much time to think about it or get cooled down or anything like that. So I got in there, first match. I think the guy was from New York, I want to say, but I was trying to establish dominant grips. I've got my skill set, my unique skill set, kind of like Andre the Giant says in The Princess Bride. It's not my fault I'm the biggest and the strongest, but grabbing those dominant grips, pushing them around, really trying to use a good head position to get my head on their chin and control them that way. Ended up, let's say, trying to pull guard, though I think it was more of like a falling down from getting shook, and I ended up in half guard. Didn't really feel the need to pass that half guard because I was long enough to where I could get to his arms, and ended up finishing with a Kimura. I couldn't quite connect. There's a part in the video where you can't see where my hands are connected moving the Kimura, but I couldn't move it far enough with both hands connected in like a traditional Kimura. So I just let go of that second hand and just with the one hand finished the Kimura, putting his hand behind the back to get the tap. So, very much like a powerlifting meet, the first squat at a powerlifting meet, the first match at the jiu-jitsu tournament, like you kind of shake off a lot of nerves, and I felt, much better coming out of that match than I did going in. So second match, not sure where the guy was from, but same kind of situation, established the dominant grips, just used a collar drag there to get him down. I forgot that for me to get the points for the takedown there, when he turtled, I would have needed to move to his back, not take his back, but just be behind him. But anyways, just that week, I've been working with Coach Jacob a lot on controlling people in that turtle position, using my weight to put pressure down kind of on the back of the head, back of the neck. So I did exactly that. I could hear Jacob yelling from the stands that I was doing a good job. Then, grabbed the foot, turned him over, landed right in side control, 2 points there, and maybe about 2 seconds later, finished with the one-handed paper cutter, which is just a thumb in, the forefinger out grip, and I don't have to get my other hand underneath because I weigh 300 pounds, so I just kind of put my weight down on it, got the tap, and that was that. going into the weekend, I pretty much figured, like, if I was to win 2 matches, that puts me in the semis, I get on the podium, that's going to be great. And I knew that would line me up most likely against Jason Shirley, who is the defending world champion at blue belt ultra heavy, defending Pan Am champion at blue belt ultra heavy, and I think the Pan Am and world champion at white belt. Previous to that, played in the NFL. The one guy there that's bigger than me, probably 6'5", like 320. And coming into it, I don't think I honestly gave myself a shot in that match. I said it was a really nerve-wracking experience for me. Like, I was much more nervous to compete in this, and self-doubt creeping in and all that kind of stuff. I just figured, like, this guy's been a blue belt for a year. I haven't even been a blue belt for a month. Like, I just kind of, I think, went in too satisfied, but I was actually really happy with how parts of that match went. Everyone was from around, even like security staff and stuff, were saying how much they liked watching it, because it was like the two big bulls locking horns there. I was happy with this sweep that I got. 2 points for that sweep when he tried to move to knee on belly. Frustrating there that as we went out of bounds, I felt that I was about 3/4 of the way to a back mount, which would have been another 4 points, and they reset us in close guard. And the reset is something I was just not that familiar with, and I knew I was not supposed to talk to the referee. Plus, he didn't really speak English anyways, so I let that kind of take my mind off of things for a little bit. But regardless, I don't want to make excuses. There's plenty of opportunities after that I could have capitalized on and should have capitalized on, but didn't. So I think ended up losing on points. The points that's showing on the screen are all off, and if you watch the whole video, the points are going up and down, and the way they're showing the points is kind of fucked. But I'm pretty sure the final score, I think, was 6-2 that Jason ended up beating me. So congrats to him. He went on to defend his title. But I came away from that match with a lot more confidence to send me towards Worlds. So I got to go home with 3rd place at Pan Ams. There you can see on the podium as well. There in 2nd place is Nasima Yang, aka the Natty Professor. So it's cool to see other people from the strength sports community competing in jiu-jitsu. Looking forward to probably doing some training with Nasima. Maybe doing some YouTube content together as well. So look forward to that. Again, we didn't get to compete against each other here, opposite sides of the bracket, but excited about this experience, excited to push hard. 10 weeks till Worlds for Jiu-Jitsu, to keep competing, to improve my skills, to have a little bit more, a little bit more beautiful Jiu-Jitsu, and not as much just kind of brute Jiu-Jitsu, or the Jug-Jitsu, as Coach Jacob and I call it. So yeah, it was a good experience. Bronze, ultra heavy blue belt adult at 2019 Pans. Congrats to Jason and Nasima on their 1st and 2nd place finishes. On training partners at Gracie Barra headquarters, our Professor Philippe, who had great performance in Black Belt Masters. And yeah, if you're thinking about trying jiu-jitsu, go try it out. It's been a ton of fun. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel.